Well, this is certainly going to be a topic, and it's one that I, personally, feel kind of conflicted about. Because obviously, if you've been following this channel for any sort of amount of time, you know that I'm a primary Canucks fan, a secondary Habs fan, and a tertiary Detroit Red Wings fan. And so, any sort of a conflicting thought between three of these teams always gets me going a little bit, and it makes for some interesting conversation. Today we're heading over to the Detroit Red Wings and talking about some guys that could be coming in, some guys that could be going out, and where these leaving guys could potentially find themselves, and whether or not it's actually worth it to think about them leaving. There's a bunch of stuff to go over here, and it comes to us in the form of a few articles published on Detroit Hockey Now and Athlon Sports. So we're going to leave links in the description to a whole bunch of stuff. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But we're starting out today's video by talking about a guy that Kevin Allen writes about on Detroit Hockey Now that could be a fit for the Red Wings. Here's the daily from 3 days ago, April 3rd. Could ex-Red Wings player fix the penalty kill? Plus draft odds. Kevin Allen goes out there and talks about a very particular forward. The Detroit Red Wings understood what they were losing when they said goodbye to Pius Suter as he opted to sign a free agent deal with the Vancouver Canucks. The next paragraph, it says, "the respected Suter." It should say they, I'm sure, based off of the context of the sentence. They respected Suter for the consummate professional that he is. The Swiss standout is a versatile forward, he kills penalties, he slides up and down lines, and is mindful of his defensive responsibilities. He is equally comfortable on a checking line or a scoring line. But neither the Wings nor the Canucks probably would have guessed that he would become one of Vancouver's leading goal scorers. With 22 goals this season, he is the team's highest scoring center. He is centering Vancouver's top line with DeBrusk and Besser. This comes after 4 consecutive seasons of being a model of consistency by scoring 14 or 15 goals. And this is true, but it lacks context. It's not really acknowledging the fact that Pius Suter is not first-line center because they have a choice. He's the first-line center because Elias Pettersson and Filipino are both out, and there isn't really anybody else that's in the organization that you could even feasibly think of giving that role to, aside Teddy Bluger. You're not going to throw Niels Oman to the Wolves as the first-line center. You're not going to give Max Sasson a spot there. You're gonna go with a guy who has experience playing on a top line, and that is Pius Suter. He was really good with Besser and Miller last year, a nice facilitator of play as a winger with those two American dudes. And now, as a first-line guy, I mean, there's been so much success Pius Suter has had. He didn't do anything in the most recent game against Anaheim. We'll see what he does today against the Vegas Golden Knights. Please do something, Pius Suter. I have him in fantasy on one of my 7 remaining active semi-finalist teams, and 7 teams in the semi-finals. You might think that sounds great, but only 3 of them are guaranteed to making the finals. The others are in a really tight race, and one of them is already like, yeah, there's no way I'm winning. So realistically, I only have a guaranteed 3 out of 7 chance of making the finals, unless, of course, one of the other opponent teams pops off with like a 5-point game or something. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen, but still, P.S. please do something today against Vegas. Anyways, the article goes out there and says this: the Vancouver province said Suter has been dubbed superglue for his ability to pull the team together. He has been a factor in transforming the team's PK from the league's worst to number 3 this season at 83%. The Red Wings, with the NHL's worst PK, need someone like Suter, and he is a UFA this summer. GM Steve Yzerman did want to re-sign Suter 2 years ago, but wanted to give him a 1-year deal. Suter wanted a multi-year deal and took 2 years at $1.6 million per season to join Vancouver. If you think it's an easy decision for Detroit to chase Suter this summer, then you are forgetting that he's a small-ish center and Detroit needs to get bigger. With Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat, the Red Wings already have smaller players in key roles, but fixing the PK has to be a critical mission. So, this article proposes the idea of Pius Suter heading back over to Detroit. This would almost be like a certain investment stock kind of move for Suter, the man himself. He goes out there and says, yeah, I want a 2-year deal. I'm not going to settle for the 1-year deal that Steve Yzerman is offering me in the 2023 offseason. And then he absolutely explodes. This season he's got 42 points in 75 games played and 22 goals. Those goals are dollar bills the moment he gets them, because he's already eclipsed his career high in both goals and points. There is a realistic world with the cap rising up and the crazy production Suter has had this year, where the guy gets, let's say, $4.5 or $4.75 million a year in free agency. Heck, if the Vancouver Canucks give him that money, I'm honestly okay with that. He's proven that he can be a capable top 6 guy in really any role, and he can play some meaningful defensive hockey in the bottom 6 if you really need to. Not to mention being a part of a Vancouver elite penalty kill with Marcus Pettersson and Tyler Myers and Derek Forbort and all the other guys over there. Pius Suter has shown tremendous value here. And if the Red Wings decided to go after this guy, like, okay, fine, you proved yourself in Vancouver, Pius, we'll give you a contract that can help us because your play is so versatile and defensively efficient, then congrats to Pius. Although, selfishly, I do think Vancouver would have it in them to re-sign Pius Suter as well. I do think they want to bring this guy back, especially considering his explosion of play with the absence of Pettersson and Filipino. But ultimately, this is a pretty good player, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Wings fan, what are your opinions about Stevie Y re-signing? I say re-signing because he was already a Wing before. Re-signing Pius Suter in the offseason. Should he be a free agent? Do you think this is a reasonable move? Now, I wanted to go over to another article and talk about a guy that could be leaving the Detroit Red Wings. Let's go out there and read this piece on athlonsports.com, published by Antonio Losada. The Maple Leafs linked to 3-time Stanley Cup champion if Mitch Marner leaves. Oh boy. This article will be linked in the description too, but it goes out there and cites a James Myrtle and Jonas Segal Athletic article that says here that one possible outcome for the Leafs in the upcoming offseason, with both Marner and Tavares set to becoming free agents on July 1st, bearing signing a contract extension between the ends of the playoffs and that date, the two insiders outline a potential offseason roadmap, suggesting that Patrick Kane, childhood hero of current Leafs captain Auston Matthews, could be a logical target to fill up a top 6 role if either Marner or Tavares leaves. Marner leaving could mean a full-time top-line role for William Nylander, Myrtle and Segal wrote, but even if Nylander continues to play away from Auston Matthews more than with him, losing Marner would necessitate the addition of another top 6 winger in free agency or via a trade. It's possible that the Leafs pass up on the top UFA wingers and pursue a short-term replacement in the top 6 to go with the center in the Tavares or Duchesne category. In that case, an intriguing option would be Matthews' childhood hero, Patrick Kane. Now, is there reason to believe that Patrick Kane's showtime could be heading over to the Toronto Maple Leafs of all teams? Is this an idea that you think is worth exploring? Heck, is it even desired for what Leafs fans are trying to build here? I know that there will be some Red Wings fans chiming in at the comments saying, hey, I'd rather see Kane stay in Detroit. Others would be like, hey, I'd rather see him leave. He's not really all too necessary. He doesn't really fit what this team is trying to do or what they're trying to build. There are various amount of opinions that Patrick Kane garners when it comes to him and his time with the Detroit Red Wings. But ultimately, I do think that it's an understandable idea to bring this up. Should Toronto lose out on Mitch Marner or John Tavares? Imagine if they keep Marner and then they sign a Patrick Kane. Matthews, Marner, Kane sounds too good to be true. But, big question out to the Wings fans checking out in this video, do you want to see Patrick Kane leave? And if you're a Leafs fan stumbling upon this, then do you want to see Patrick Kane head over to your team? Easy conversation, yes or no answer, but there's a lot to expand upon with the whys. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Pius Suter, Patrick Kane, Red Wings conversation. Let me know what you think. Do you want these guys in your team? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.